Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you're having a great day. We've got a full 15-game slate to talk about, and I'm going to give you guys my 6 best bets today. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, comment down below with your favorite plays of the day, and let's jump into the recap. So yesterday, I gave you guys 4 best bets. We had the Reds' first 7 cash for us. We had the Mets' first 5, GG. Kodai Senga gave up some runs early. Mets had opportunities in the 3rd and the 5th, and couldn't get anything done. So that stunk. I thought maybe we'd push that. We had the Orioles and the Brewers over 8 cash for us, and we had the DBacks and the Dodgers over 9.5. Well, the DBacks almost got that done on their own. Final score 9-5. Dodgers on a 4-game losing streak. Absolutely crazy. But we went 3-1 on the day, up about 1.5 units. So we will absolutely take that. Let's talk about this first game on the card today. It's going to be the Cubs. Actually, no. It's going to be the Reds and the Pirates. All right. So Nick Martinez going up against Bailey Falter, the lefty Bailey Falter. Weather in this one's going to be 59 degrees with mid-humidity and low pressure with about a 2-mile-an-hour wind blowing in from left field. So home runs are going to be down just because of the cold weather. If we look at Bailey Falter versus the Reds, hasn't really been good. He's 0-1 with a 4.24 ERA at home versus the Reds since 2023. At home this year, Falter is 4 home starts, and he has a 3.0 ERA, so not terrible. Martinez in 4 away starts has almost a 5 ERA. I would say it's a pretty mixed game here. I kind of see it both ways. I mean, Falter's been pitching pretty good. His last outing against the Mets, he didn't go long. He went into the 4th inning, but he didn't give up any earned runs, against the Braves in 6 innings. Only gave up 1 against the Padres, and he went 7 innings. And then the 2 starts prior to that against the Dodgers and the Angels, he got dinged up a little bit. He's already faced this Reds team at Great American Ballpark on April 11th, and they got to him. They got 3 earned runs, 5 runs in total. I believe this was the game Ellie hit the grand slam. So really, he was pretty dominant most of this game. Ran into some trouble. I think it was in the 5th inning maybe, and gave up an Ellie grand slam. I'm pretty confident that was that game. This is one I think you're getting good value to take the Pirates here at plus 114 at home with a lefty on the mound. Reds have been significantly weaker against lefties. That said, the Pirates are as equally inept at hitting right-handed hitters. So over the past 2 weeks, the Reds are hitting 171 with a 26 WRC plus against lefties and a 35% K rate. Pirates are hitting 194 against righties with a 45 WRC plus. But Martinez is not a guy that's going to strike you out. He's going to pitch to soft contact. I just think it's a decent spot here to back Pittsburgh. When I look at who's got a good matchup today, I just don't like it. Matt McClain's been struggling a little bit. He has technically one of the better matchups. Rhys Hines is a kind of home run or miss kind of guy. Tyler Stevenson has a pretty good track record here against Bailey Falter. He's 8 for 14 with 2 home runs. Spencer Steer has a pretty good track record. He's 7 for 14 with a home run. Santiago Espinal's 4 for 8. But like Ellie's 2 for 10. You've got Austin Hayes, small sample size, but 0 for 2. TJ Friedl 2 for 6. So to me, it's like Pittsburgh or the over in this one. I know it's 8, but I definitely think they get to Martinez, and I think the Reds should touch Falter a little bit. But taking an over against 2 teams that are just not hitting well, technically. I don't love it. Falter is giving up a 333 average to lefties, but you're going to have Ellie from the right-hand side, so I don't love that. Yeah, just not a lot I can really get behind in this one, to be honest. I mean, there's only going to be one lefty in the lineup probably. It's going to be TJ Friedl in all likelihood, so really don't get the benefit of that, and he's been solid against righties, giving up a sub-2 average. So this is one, like I said, I think Pirates is the smart play here. Reds bullpen will be a little more rested this game, so there's that. But then you got to deal with the Pirates bullpen, who absolutely terrible. I mean, Bednar got called up back up from the minors, and he freaking tanked again, which helped us. I was happy to see it. But he gave up a ton of runs last night. So can I get behind this Pirates bullpen with a healthy Reds bullpen? I don't know, man. Fade for me. But if I had to pick, I would pick Pirates. All right, next one's going to be the Cubs and the Marlins. God, if you missed this game yesterday, this was a wild one, man. Back and forth game. They just kept scoring runs. Cubs finally got the lead going into the bottom of the ninth. 2 pretty quick outs, and then gave up, I want to say 2 singles, or either way. They had runners on first and second with 2 outs, and then Jesus Sanchez hits a triple to walk it off. Crazy. I mean, crushed so many parlays yesterday. No doubt, man. That was brutal. So today we get Jameson Taillon going up against Ryan Weathers. Now, Weathers only has 1 start this season, but it was just against this Cubs team on the 14th in Wrigley. Pretty good outing. Went 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, and it was a home run. And he struck out 5. Taillon, you know what you're going to get out of Taillon. It's not going to be anything overpowering. But he has struggled on the road this year. 5 away starts. He's got a 6 ERA. Weathers will be making his first home start, so we really can't gather a bunch into that. I really hate this matchup. Like I said yesterday, I don't really love when pitchers are making their next starts against the same team, just because they can make so much adjustments, right, with the analytics and everything, tools that teams have available to them. You just see them make adjustments today. So, lean Cubs. Would I be surprised if the Marlins won? No. Against a lefty, Cubbies have been hitting pretty good over the past week, but over the past 2 weeks, they've been pretty mediocre. So offensively, it really does kind of favor the Marlins here. So you're getting some value to take them at plus 130. I would need for it to be a little bit more, in my opinion. But you look at this Marlins team, they're equally as good offensively over the last 2 weeks, and they've actually hit more home runs. So they've got a WRC plus of about 108, so they're above league average. Cubbies are sitting at about 116 WRC plus, but average-wise, they're averaging 329 average over the last 2 weeks. Cubs are averaging 321. So there's some opportunities here for the Marlins. I just wouldn't go nuts taking the Cubs today. It's down to 155, but there's a reason for that. Taillon is giving up an average of 237. For me, when I look at this Marlins, I always look at the right-handed side, just because the majority of their sticks are righty. I mean, Stowers and Sanchez are lefties, but the other sticks are going to be from the right-handed side. So it's one more. Taillon's been okay, 235, but his strikeout rate goes down. Yeah, just an ugly fade spot here. It's over or nothing for me in this one. I did have the over yesterday, and obviously that one hit pretty easy because it became a slugfest. All right, next game, Mets and the Red Sox. Oh, the Mets. Come on, man. So many chances yesterday. Clay Holmes, 5-2 on the year with a 3.14 ERA going up against Walker Buehler. Buehler, surprising year, 4-1. A 4.28 ERA. 248 opponent average. 3 starts at home this season. He's got about a 3.5 ERA. Clay Holmes has 5 road starts, and he's got a 2.5 ERA. He's done really well against lefties. 207 average. 280 against righties, though. So a little weaker against the righties. Buehler, kind of the opposite. 276 against lefties. 158 against righties. Doing a good job against righties. Got like a 37% strikeout rate, which is pretty crazy. Just because he's not really a huge strikeout guy, but against lefties, that strikeout rate goes down to 15%. So this is one, I love the bounce back here. So the Mets, after a loss this season in terms of their run production, goes way up. It's like 5.67 or 5.76 runs they average per game after a loss. So I do like the bounce back here today. Give me the Mets on the money line. It's a short price. They're the better team ultimately. And they'll have the bullpen fully rested. Red Sox did use a couple of key arms yesterday. Now, it wasn't for a ton of pitches, but they did use some arms, whereas the Mets really didn't have to touch their main 3 arms. So give me the Mets in this one, minus 125. Lock that in as a best bet. All right, Atlanta Braves and the Nats. The return of Spencer Strider. After a little hamstring injury, he'll be back on the bump today going up against Mitchell Parker, the lefty. Parker's just not a dude I can get behind. He doesn't strike out many people whatsoever. He's a pitch to contact guy. He's 3-3 on the year. Does only have a 2.17 opponent average, but he's got a little bit higher ERA. Actually, sorry, it's a little bit lower at home. Goes down to like 3.38. But you just got the better pitcher in Spencer Strider here. So I love the spot. Also like the angle that the Nats are coming off a series where they just tattooed everything, and now they get the day off. Typically, now it's not guaranteed, but normally you'll see a dip in production, at least that first game back, after throwing up so many runs. So love the spot for the Braves here. I like the mix for the Braves. I think there's some really good matchups here. I think Matt Olson, Sean Murphy, and Austin Riley have fantastic matchups today. So I like this. I think Verdugo has a pretty decent matchup. Harris has a pretty decent matchup. Ozzie Albies has a pretty decent matchup. So just when I look across the board, I see really good matchups. So the way I'm going to take this is we're going to do an alt line on Strider K's. We're going to take him to get 5. I do think he goes over that line, but we're going to take him to get 5, and we're going to take the Braves to win the game. That gives us to plus 104, I believe. So that is how we are going to attack this game. Thought about doing first 5, but it doesn't make sense. This is a terrible Nats bullpen. Still a 6.36 ERA, 27th in the league against a pretty decent Braves bullpen. So even after Strider's out, let's take advantage of this weak bullpen. So that is how we are approaching that game. Rangers and the Yankees. Will Warren going up against Patrick Corbin. It is Patrick Corbin day. 63 degrees, mid-humidity, low pressure with an 11-mile-an-hour wind blowing in from center field. So home runs are going to be down a little bit. I like Will Warren. I'm starting to get on the Will Warren train here today. Does have a little bit of a weaker split against lefties, 284 as opposed to 200 to righties. Corbin, 231 to lefties, 253 to righties. His ERA does jump slightly to about 4 on the road. Will Warren's ERA actually goes down a little bit at home. He's got a 4.30 ERA in 3 home starts here. I think it's just a good spot to take the Yankees. So I think there's a couple of guys that have pretty decent matchups. You do have DJ LeMahieu back in the lineup, so I love to see that. Trent Grisham's been playing pretty well, so I think he has a pretty good matchup. Goldschmidt has a decent matchup today. I assume we'll see him lead off since it's a lefty starting. So yeah, I like the spot here. But I'll tell you what, the Rangers have been hitting some home runs. If you haven't been paying attention, over the last 2 weeks, they've hit 19 home runs. Yankees have hit 21. So they have been hitting the ball much better. It got a 357 average over the last 2 weeks as opposed to 326 for the Yankees. But still the better team at home. I hate this pitch mix for Corbin. I think he gets rocked here. So I'd take the Yankees here. Not a lot of value to take the run line, though, given the weather. Next game is going to be the Astros and the Rays. Good job, Astros, getting the job done. I took them on the run line yesterday, plus 1.5. Should have just taken a money line. But we got Brandon Walter going up against Zach Littell. Walter is a lefty. They're finding a spot because they had Wesneski, who's got to have Tommy John surgery. So they're kind of going through some guys right now. But in terms of Walter, he seems like a decent pitcher. He's got a 2.27 ERA through about 36 innings. He's a ground ball guy. So his ground ball rate this year is about 60%, which is nice. About a 25% strikeout rate and doesn't walk many guys. Now, that said, he's not a power pitcher. He's definitely somebody who is not going to overpower many hitters. He throws a 4-seam and a sinker at about 91 miles an hour. So, like I said, he's not going to blow it by you. But he does have a 5-pitch mix, and he has a really nasty sweeping slider that's in the upper 70s. So I think he's going to do a good job of keeping this Rays team off balance today. We're seeing it. The Rays are just struggling at the plate. Now they get a lefty that has a 5-pitch mix that he has decent control on. I see a lot of weak contact today. In terms of the weather, it's going to be 81 degrees with a 10-mile-an-hour wind blowing out. Mid-humidity, mid-pressure. Home runs are going to be up quite a bit, like 32%. This is one where I got to get behind the Astros here at a short price of minus 118. Littell, I just don't like him, man. Andy's given up a 61% fly ball percentage in a park that's really small. He's got a 4.50 ERA in 4 home starts. His home runs per 9 are way up there at 2.15. Again, that is the product of pitching in a minor league small little ballpark. But he's getting crushed by righties. He's given up a 300 average to righties, and this is a lineup today that is going to be all righties. He's done well against lefties, 185 average. Doesn't matter if there's no lefties in the lineup. Every single player in this lineup today is probably going to be right-handed. I think there's some really good matchups here. I think Christian Walker has a pretty good matchup. Yanier Diaz has a good matchup. Jake Myers has a good matchup. Like kind of all across the board. Altuve, I like him. So yeah, it's just Astros are nothing for me. I hate backing a rookie. That's not a really fun place you want to be in, but I do think they get the job done today. I wouldn't hate leaning towards the over though, suspecting that the rookie will probably give up some runs, and I think Littell will as well. Okay. Next game, Padres and the Blue Jays. Dylan Cease going up against TBD, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Chris Bassett. If it is Chris Bassett, doesn't have a great track record against San Diego. He's 1-3 with a 4.57 ERA. Dylan Cease on the other side, good track record against Toronto, but hasn't faced them since 2023. But he is 1-0 with a .69 ERA, so hasn't given up many runs. He's looked pretty good lately. You know, I get a little nervous about taking Cease, but we look at his last outings, they've been pretty decent. Against the Angels, he went into the 7th, gave up 2 earned runs. Against the Yankees, went into the 7th, gave up 1. Against Pittsburgh, didn't go nearly as long. Only did 4 innings, but he gave up 2 earned runs. He's kind of like a 2, kind of count on him for like 2 earned runs. He's going to be somewhere in there. Chris Bassett hasn't looked terrible. Really good last outing against Tampa, but again, we know they're struggling. Against the A's, he gave up 4 earned runs. Against Cleveland, he gave up 3. Against the Yankees, he gave up 4. Houston, he gave up 4. So it's just not a dude at home I really want to get behind, but he is pitching better at home than he is away, which is usually the opposite for him. Generally, he's a better pitcher outside of Toronto, but 2.05 ERA and 4 home starts. Dylan Cease has been worse on the road, 6.41, but there's some blow-up games in there on the road, which dude just has. Against the A's, he went 4 innings, gave up 9 hits, 9 earned runs. So that's really throwing those numbers off. So don't want to read too much into that because that's one bad start, and that was pretty early in the season. Now, I think personally we're getting a very short price to take the significantly better team. Padres are 27-18 on the year, coming off getting swept by the Mariners. Had the day off to get right. I like this spot for them. So give me the Padres on the money line here. Love the bounce back angle here. And if we look at Toronto at home, it's not like they're juggernauts. They're 13-12 on the season. After a loss in the season, it does kind of scare me because the Padres are only 8-9 after a loss. So makes me a little bit nervous, but yeah, I think when we look at Toronto at home as dogs, they're only 5-5 on the season. So everything here just says take Padres at a short price. You can get that at -120 on FanDuel. All right, next game is going to be the Orioles and the Blue Jays. So this is an interesting game as well. Keegan Aiken pitching for the Orioles. I assume, so I've been trying to figure out how this game will go. He's not a starter. He is a opener, I guess, in this scenario, but he really hasn't pitched more. Let's see. He's only pitched 2 innings like one time this season. Other than that, he's like 1 inning, 1.2. So he's going to be an opener. The question is who comes after him. I think it might be Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton is their long guy now. He got moved out of the starting rotation into the pen, and he's their long reliever. So we might see a Charlie Morton day. Going up against Keegan Aiken. So Keegan Aiken this season, kind of the same thing. I mean, this guy is Logan Henderson. Jesus. Logan Henderson's been super solid so far this year. He is absolutely lights out. First game, he had like 9 Ks. The next game, his K line was like 4.5. I'm like, I don't want to bet it because it's one look. Then he goes out and Ks like 9 again. So going up against this Orioles team that, let's just be honest, they're terrible. Last night should have been a pretty easy win, but it was one swing of the bat, 3-run home run. Tied this game up at 4. Brewers got it done, I believe, in the bottom of the 8th, got that 5th run across. But yeah, this is a Brewer spot. You're getting pretty decent value, minus 125 to take a home team that is really good at home, 14-9 on the season. After a win, the Brewers are 12-10. After a loss, which the Orioles have lost 7 straight, by the way, 2-8 in their last 10. They're 12-18 on the season. Give me Logan Henderson over 5.5 Ks at minus 110. I think this number is just too low. I think that this Orioles team is striking out at a pretty decent clip, and this guy's got some really plus stuff. So Logan Henderson over 5.5 Ks at minus 110 is my best bet, but I do like the Brewers money line as well. All right, Mariners and the White Sox. I'm not going to talk too much about this game. I don't know who the starting pitcher is for Seattle. I cannot find that information, so I have no idea who is pitching, so it's hard to handicap this game. Bryce Wilson will be going for the White Sox. He's terrible. He's 0-2 with a 3.26 opponent average and a 6 ERA. He's got a 5.59 ERA at home. This guy pretty much only pitches at home, ironically, but can't get behind him here. So regardless of who's pitching for the Mariners, I guess it's Mariners run line, but would like to see. Don't love the weather here. It's going to be nasty, 48 degrees and 18-mile-an-hour wind blowing in. So nothing I can really get behind here, but it's Mariners run line or nothing with Bryce Wilson on the bump. All right, next game is going to be the Guardians and the Twins. This is going to be Chris Paddock going up against Gavin Williams. So this is kind of an interesting pitching matchup here. Paddock 2-3 on the season. Gavin Williams 3-2. Both pretty similar ERAs, right around in the low 4s. Gavin Williams on the road has been pretty bad this year. He's got a 5.30 ERA and 4 away starts. I love fading Gavin Williams. If you watch this channel a lot, you know, not a Gavin Williams fan. I think we've taken him one time this season. Chris Paddock, I don't love Chris Paddock either, but I'll tell you what Chris Paddock does well. Lefties. Giving up a 154 average against lefties, but he's not striking them out. Only got a 12.5% strikeout rate, but he's doing a very good job against them. And if you know this Cleveland lineup, there is a lot of lefties. So there will be like 8 today, 7 or 8 lefties in this lineup. It's a good spot to take the Twins, man. They're hot. Yesterday, I think they were going to win that game if it didn't get suspended. So I don't know if this plan is like a double header today. That's something I need to look at because that will impact things. I don't want to touch a double header. But this is Twins for me or nothing, and you're getting them at a pretty decent price. The only thing that concerns me is the weather. It's going to be 43 degrees with a 14-mile-an-hour wind blowing in from center field. So home runs are going to be down like 30%, and you got an over-under of 7.5. So it's Twins or the under for me in this spot. All right, next game, Tigers and the Cardinals. Tariq Skubal going up against Eric Fetty. This is a huge pitching disparity. But man, this Cardinals team is ridiculously hot. 8-2 in their last 10, 16-6 at home. If we look at the Tigers, 14-12 on the road, 6-4 in their last 10, and got blanked. Well, I guess they didn't get blanked yesterday. Kind of did, but they ended up putting a run or two across yesterday. But it wasn't good offensively. Sonny Gray absolutely just mowed them down. But today you get Eric Fetty. Eric Fetty's 3-3 on the year. He's got a 4.76 ERA and 4 home starts. Tariq Skubal, definitely more susceptible to giving up runs on the road. He's got a 3.04 ERA and 4 away starts. But it's Skubal, man. And if we look at lefties versus the Cardinals, they've been okay as of late. They got one off of Gunther, but again, he really didn't go very much. Noah Cameron, they only got 1. They did get 4 off Cole Reagans. They got 1 off of Luzardo, 2 off of Sanchez. So that's, and then they got to Gore and Parker pretty good. They got 4 runs off of those guys. It's kind of hit or miss, right? If we look at kind of the more upper echelon people, maybe Cole Reagans you throw in there and Sanchez, I guess, but they've been able to hit the weaker lefties. So now you get Skubal. I don't love this matchup. And you got Fetty on the other side. Then there's a system play where the Tigers didn't score hardly any yesterday. Yeah, I like this spot for them. So it's Tigers. Minus 180 is a hefty price to pay. So we're going to do Tigers race to 4 at minus 130 as our best bet in this game. All right, Phillies and the Rockies. I mean, the worst pitcher in MLB is throwing today. Antonio Senzatella. I just can't stand this guy. He's got almost an 80 ERA, doesn't strike people out. He's got a 13% strikeout rate to righties, 11% to lefties. Going up against Jesus Luzardo, who is just ridiculously better, but very prone to giving up hits to righties, giving up almost a 300 average to righties. So that's a little scary considering that this Rockies team is predominantly righties. He might face 2 lefties today, probably. Or no, he's only going to face 1 because if Michael Toglia is in the lineup, which I assume he will be, he's a switch hitter. He'd be hitting from the right-handed side. So Ryan McMahon will be the only lefty he faces today. But either way, if you want to get in the slugfest, the Phillies still win. Give me the Phillies here all day, every day, but there's really not a ton of value unless you parlay them. It's going to be 68 degrees with low humidity and low pressure, but there is going to be a 17-mile-an-hour wind blowing in from left field. Home runs are going to be up slightly. Runs are going to be up a lot, like 26%. Don't want to touch an over-under at course. Things just get too wild, but we're going to put the Phillies in a little parlay today. All right, next game is going to be the Royals and the Giants. Thank you, Royals, for coming through, baby. It was a little ballsy move because Robbie Ray hadn't lost at home, but I did have a nice little combo of the Royals and the Angels together, and I had that paired up with the Reds. So that was a nice little hit. Royals today. Michael Lorenzen on the mound going up against Hayden Birdsong. The caw, the Birdsong is back in San Fran. Tricky one for me, but I definitely think the Giants should take this one down. 57 degrees. I mean, it's like always the same temperature in San Francisco. It doesn't change. The weather is the same every day. 57 degrees, mid-humidity, mid-pressure, 9-mile-an-hour wind blowing out the center field. But again, wind really doesn't mean much in San Fran. Home runs are going to be down 30%, runs down 6. We get an over-under of 8. It's Giants or the over for me. I think the Giants bounce back today, especially against Lorenzen. Very hittable pitcher. He's got a 5.35 ERA and 6 away starts. Birdsong's been super good at home. Yeah, I really don't see an angle where I want to back KC today. I liked them yesterday because I thought Bubic was going to pitch extremely well. And just in tight scoring games, like I said yesterday, Royals just find ways to win low scoring games. I don't think this one's going to be as low scoring. So it's Giants or the over for me in this game. All right, next game, the Angels and the Athletics. Was on the Angels yesterday, but I don't love them today. Kyle Hendricks going up against Gunnar Hoglund. Can't really get behind Kyle Hendricks. He's 1-5 on the year with a 5.18 ERA. That ERA jumps to 6.38 in 5 away games. Hoglund, ERA goes down slightly, but he's only got 1 home start. So really don't want to jump on the Hoglund train after 3 starts, but he hasn't looked terrible. Last start was against the Dodgers. Gave up 7 hits, 4 earned runs. But prior to that, pretty good job against Seattle and Miami. Hendricks is not a guy I can get behind, man. If we look at this guy's last 6 starts in terms of earned runs, 3.31, 7.35. Can't do it. I cannot get behind this guy. 75 degrees, low humidity, low pressure, and a 9-mile-an-hour wind blowing out the center field. It's got to be the Athletics here. I've got the A's winning this about 5.3 to 4.68. So I've still got the Angels scoring runs. So I don't mind the over 10 here with this wind blowing out. You've got a very susceptible starting pitcher. The Angels bullpen's still very susceptible. Scares me. I trusted them yesterday, but 2 really bad bullpens, to be honest. This is like 2 of the worst bullpens. So give me the over 10 in this one. I think Hoglund should get hit. This Angels team is starting to hit a little bit. They got a 105 WRC plus, hitting 275 over the past 2 weeks with 23 home runs. So they've been bashing the ball out of the yard, and we got the wind blowing out. So over 10, this is one I almost put on the card because I do think this goes over pretty easily. All right, last game on the card. Dodgers on a 4-game losing streak, 4-6 in their last 10, and they're still minus 218 today. Crazy. It's because Yoshinobu Yamamoto is on the mound today. 5-3 with a 2.12 ERA, going up against Ryan Nelson, who is 1-1 with a 5.13 ERA. The ERA does go up on the road to 6.30. Yamamoto's made 4 home starts, 245 average. He's done a great job of locking down lefties, 161 average to lefties, 240 to righties. I mean, I still kind of want to take the over. It's 75 degrees with a 7-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to right center. I can see a 9 here. I could see a spot where the Dodgers just come unhinged and put up 8, and we just need Arizona to score 1. This is still a pretty bad Diamondbacks bullpen any way you cut it, and the pitch splits don't look great for Yamamoto, to be honest. Diamondbacks, he throws the fastball 42% of the time. Diamondbacks are 5th in that. He throws a splitter sinker type pitch about 30% of the time. Diamondbacks are 7th in that. On the other side for Nelson, every single pitch he throws, they crush. So, yeah, I still kind of lean the over. There's no way I'm paying this value for the Dodgers. And I still think this Diamondbacks team is scorching hot with the sticks. You got basically two of the best offenses in baseball going up against each other. I know Yamamoto's good. I would still lean towards the over 9. This Dodgers bullpen, we've seen it time and time again. They're still very susceptible to giving up runs as well. So I wouldn't shy away from taking that 9. Got that push potential in there. I've got this in terms of my prediction. It's 6-4 is how I've got this figured out in the model. So do the Dodgers win? Yeah, probably. But my God, can't get behind them right now. Just I got to see something before I'm willing to back them. All right, let's get into this best bets. Get you guys on your way. First play on the day is going to be the Braves money line. Spencer Strider to get 5 Ks. Plus 104. We're going to take Logan Henderson to go over 5.5 Ks at minus 110. You want to sweeten up the pot, you can add Brewers money line. I do like them today. We're going to take the Mets on the money line, bounce back here. Like I said, scoring like 5.76 runs after a loss this season, and they get Walker Buehler, a pitcher they should get to today. You got Padres money line, just a short price, take the better team. Dylan Cease is throwing the ball well. And then you have Tigers, race to 4. I mean, it's Skubal and Fetty. We've got a massive pitching advantage. Like I said, love the system play that the Tigers didn't score many runs yesterday. I think it's a bounce back day today. And then on the parlay, we're going to take a little 3-leg, little tree. We're going to take the Phillies, the Braves, and the Tigers on the money line. That's plus 223. I also looked at the Yankees. I wouldn't necessarily do a 4-leg, but I was kind of back and forth between if I wanted to take the Tigers or the Yankees just because we're already playing the Tigers. Ultimately went with the Tigers, though. A little bit better value at minus 180. So Phillies, Braves, and Tigers all to win, plus 223. We're just going to do a half a unit on that. So those are my 6 best bets, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, make sure you join the Discord. Link is down below. I post a lot of stuff in there. I post the score projections. I'll be honest, my model has been on an absolute tear in terms of predicting games and things like that. We went 12-3 on Sunday, went 7-4 yesterday, 9-6 the day before. So we're hitting at a pretty damn high clip rate. So the model's getting honed in nicely as we get more data. So appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll catch you in tomorrow's video.